What's the emotions right now?
Well, I was doing pretty good, and standing on the field, I said a little prayer, and I got a little energy from above, and we made it through. That was the hard part. The second part is now we're going to go broadcast a spring game. In spring football games, if you're ever going to play and play, spring football games are tougher to do than NFL preseason games. Because you got 85 players on an NFL preseason team, you got probably 110 Seminoles, and a lot will play, some won't, and there's not enough room on depth charts to have every name. So this will be an exciting experience to close out old Gene's career with a spring game, because my very first, I don't know if it's been written or I think I've said it, but my very first game was in 1976, Florida State spring game, Bobby Bowden's first. And back then you had teams, the garnet and the gold, and the team that won got steak, the team that lost got beanie weenies. I always thought that was, but the way the NCAA now has it with 15 practices, they can't do a game, so this is going to be a scrimmage. I think there's one more, and then that'll be it for spring. And I just got a big hug from Coach Mike Norvell. I said, Coach, I hate to leave you because you're going to turn this thing around. I know you are. And 2022 is going to be the year of the Seminoles. That was my comment to Coach Norvell. 2022 is going to be the year of the Seminoles. All right.
Is this a tough game to call under the circumstances?
Once we get started, I don't think it'll be tough. I hope not. I hope not. I didn't bring the tissue paper with me.
What will you remember the most from all these years, all the games, all the people?
Well, number one, great games, great coaches, great wins over rivals, Florida, Miami, Clemson, fans. You know, I'm walking up here today and running to a good friend who just lost his wife. We said a little prayer, but I'll miss that. I'll miss that. I'll still be in Tallahassee and still be following the Seminoles, wearing garnet and gold, and doing the war chant, watching the games on TV, sometimes coming to the games in person when I can, because I've got, I'm doing another year of Buccaneer football, so this year probably won't be able to get to many home games, but maybe there's a Monday night game. But I look forward to doing the war chant and wearing garnet and gold at Doak Campbell Stadium. And I want to say this is Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium, or vice versa. And as I said, thank you, Bobby. What a great run I've had. I've had a tremendous, tremendous run. And in my opinion, they need to put Bobby Bowden on Mount Rushmore, add a fifth sculpture, because that's how big he is for this school, for this program, for the folks that work with Bobby, that knew Bobby, and just the fans that cheered him on from the West Coast. From, we had a fan saw Bobby Bowden do an interview on TV, and he said, "Wow, man, I like this guy. I want to go meet this guy." And he came up to Tallahassee with his wife. He met Coach Bobby Bowden. His name was Al Dunlap, and he's donated about $20 million to this program. That's what Bobby meant to the school. That's what Bobby means to me. I didn't get the 20 mil. I didn't get a nickel of Al's money. But by God, that's what Bobby was to this university.
Can I take you back to Jacksonville and when you got the broadcasting bug?
Yeah. I did the public address announcing for Forest High School. My brother played football. I didn't play football, but I handled the PA my junior and senior year. Touchdown Rebels, touchdown Forest High School, and it's no longer there. It's Westside High School, but that was my first thing in football, and then I went to junior college on a basketball scholarship. I was fortunate in Jacksonville to score 32 points against Lake City High School. At the time, a school record for Forest. I'm bragging about myself. When you're tired of hearing me brag, just send me back to the booth and I'll. But anyway, I scored 32. I got a scholarship offer, and I played junior college ball in Palatka, Florida, for Coach Bill Tootin. And then I met my bride, Ann, and we've been married 56, going on 57 years. So that was a great thing for me to play junior college basketball in St. John. And at the end of one season, the fellow that was the program director of WWPF Radio came up to me and said, "I know you're on the debate team. You just won the state championship. I know you can talk. Have you ever thought about going into radio?" And that's sort of, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. And I had to go get a license. I got my license. I worked weekends and broadcast a Little League All-Star game, and nobody knew who was playing. I didn't, but I don't know what it sounded like. But that was my first play-by-play. And then I finished up at the university in Gainesville, and I was working, expecting a baby, and I had to go back to work, and so I'm going to school. And I worked for a station that wanted to broadcast high school football and basketball games, and they fired their play-by-play guy, and I knew basketball. So my very first professional broadcast was, I'm a basketball Jones, don't get me wrong, I love football, but I love college basketball. There's nothing like it.
Gene, what does this university mean to you?
Florida State University is the university. It is the Florida State University. Don't let anybody take that away. This is the school. And it's a national brand. It's a nationally ranked university. They have had tremendous presidents at this university, and I think you're going to really, 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 really like Richard McCullough as the president of Florida State University. And my tenure goes back to, well, Stan Marshall was the president when I first moved to Tallahassee, and then Bernard Slager, one of the all-time great presidents of a university anywhere. We go back a long ways together, and yeah, Florida State University is the university in the state of Florida. It's, what can I say? Its athletic programs are second to none. In my opinion, we should win that the Directors' Cup every year. We're getting close. I think Mike Alford's got to get that cup for us, but soccer team, 3 championships. I wished I broadcast soccer. I wished I broadcast soccer. I've been to soccer games, but I've never broadcast. I could do that, you know, but I'd like to maybe do that one. Maybe in my retirement I could do some soccer, you know, but softball team is, I mean, right up there at the very top year in and year out. This is a great athletic program. Our golf team, I mean, we got more players on the golf tour now than I think we've ever had, probably as many as Rob Wilson could answer that. We got golf team, tennis team, facilities are wonderful, and the people are the best. Seminole fans are the best in the world.
Gene, when you started broadcasting basketball here almost 50 years ago, did you ever think it would end 50 years later with a standing ovation on the 50-yard line?
You know, you don't think about that when you're broadcasting. You don't think about retiring. You don't think about, you know, calling it quits. You know, God will tell you when it's time. And it's like I said in a couple of, I've tried to respond to all the texts that I've gotten in emails. And Florida State University will live forever. Voices have a timeline, and my timeline is up, and somebody else is going to take on. But the university will be here forever. So that's, no, I've never thought about retiring. When asked that question for the last 20 years, God will tell me when it's time to quit. And he sort of indicated, when, you know, I'm not walking like this, but then I'm not walking like this, you know. And what I'm saying is that it's time to slow down a little bit. But yeah, I think that's what got me first. You know, the steps are a little tougher to get up. Briefcase is getting a little heavier.
The games are one thing. The preparation.
Preparation is,
you spend more time preparing than you do broadcasting.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with all that time?
You know, you asked a question about 50 years ago. Tiny Tully Gym, 1974, Ed Littler and I do the games. And I mean, it's a little crow's nest up there, you look down. And I got a phone call last week from a fellow that broadcast the Metro Game of the Week in the old Metro Conference. And he sat right next to me, and we broadcast on 2 different microphones, our network and his network, and his name was Bob Costas. And Bob and I talked, and he said, I remember that dadgum crow's nest. He said, I could barely get into that thing, and you had to go in every home. I said, yeah, but it's a lot better than that. I don't think he ever did a game. I know he didn't do a game in the old, in the Donald O. Tucker Civic. But he broadcast a game in Telly-Gym, and he called to say, hey, congratulations, and I won't forget climbing up that ladder to get to that dadgum crow's nest. He may not have said dadgum.
Gene, when were you with the Bucks? Is that what you said?
I've got a contract through next year with an option. We'll see how it goes. I'm cutting back 65 to 70% of my work, and I'm still driving 4.5 hours down and 4.5 hours back. So, no speed tickets yet. No speed tickets, but yeah.
So what would you do with all the time, quote unquote, all the time?
Well, I haven't gone that far yet, you know. But Ann will probably have a few projects for me, and we love to go to certain places, Mackinac Island, Bar Harbor, and places we're familiar with, you know. I think our overseas travel's over. We've done a lot of that over the past few years, but it'll be great. I may have a chance to finish 2 books that I got for Christmas that I'm about halfway through, you know.
One more question.
Okay.
Florida State athletics wasn't as great as it was when you first took over. What was it like to be a part of that ride and be such a big part of that?
I don't know what the facilities at other schools were like in '74, but Tully Gym seated about 3,500. You had the bleachers that folded out. That was basketball. Volleyball was probably still played in Tully Gym, but it's the volleyball team's Tully Gym now. This stadium held 37,500. There were no end zones. You had bleachers. You had a small, little, teeny tiny scoreboard, and come a long way. 80,000 now. Bricks all the way around the building. This is. I'll tell you this. I've got 2 great stadiums that I work in. One is Doe Campbell Stadium, and one is Raymond James Stadium. I say that the top of the list of state. I've been to the new ones, you know. I haven't been to the one in Vegas, but I've been to the one in L.A. and second to none. The facilities. I generally think that the media, which you are a part of, are probably treated better and handled nicer in this building than any other stadium you can go to. You got to tip your hat. And for guys like us in this business, we appreciate all the help we can get. And I don't think there's a better place to cover a sports event than Florida State University.
Gene, thank you.
Now I got to go start talking. Oh, wait a minute, I just talked.
We warmed you up.